It's all going to be determined, ironically enough, if you want to be sort of critical of democracy. The next president of America is going to be determined by the voters, by a narrow group of voters in Iowa, New Hampshire, Carolina, and a couple of other states.
It's amazing how this democracy that we keep saying doesn't work keeps working exactly this way.
Well, it may or may not work. I'm not sure how democratic it is, but I think that the next president of America will be determined by that small group of voters. But I think they're a responsible group, and I think they're doing. I think they bear their responsibility. I think that's why they're taking a lot of time on this, and I think they'll probably come up with a decent candidate. I mean, I understand some of their reservations about Clinton. I certainly don't see her as Rovian or evil in any way. But she's not an ideal candidate. What?
My point was not that she is Rovian. My point is that Rove and she come tied at the hip. You get both. That's what we get if we go, and that's what Obama's entire resonance for the last month has been about. It isn't about the fact that Hillary screwed up in a debate and exposed herself as being, attempting to run a general election in a primary. It's that people just hate the idea of another 8 or 16 years of this bullshit. And, he's got a good point there. And
what bullshit? That's what I don't understand. What are you talking about?
Let's not talk about the Bush years.
16. Where'd you get 16 years from? Where's the 16 years?
8 plus 8.
But what's 8? Where's the next 8?
Interesting question. It sure isn't going to be Hillary for 4 or whatever years training Obama. That's like, let's train JFK to be president. I mean, that's nonsense. Let me just say the last thing, because I know you have to rush off to Lithuania or some important country that needs some explanation of what's going on here. But the New Hampshire dynamics are significant, and it is the New Hampshire dynamics that are going to have a lot to do with why the Republican primary is the more important of the two in New Hampshire. Because what's going to happen is if Huckabee breaks out in any significant way, or even just sustains where he has broken out, and becomes a player, or at least takes out Romney for real in New Hampshire, there's going to be a real flow away from voting on the Democratic side as an independent, which is where a lot of Hillary's strength would come from. So it's going to really hurt Hillary in New Hampshire for the reasons I just suggested.
But why should an independent why is that going to make any difference to an independent? What is going to drive an independent because Huckabee showed well in Iowa?
If he shows well in Iowa, then there are going to be a lot of people who are going to be handicapping the Republican race, and they're going to be shifting their votes from entering the Democratic booth.
Why, though? Explain why.
If I had a choice between, let's say Obama wins by 1 point, which is essentially meaningless, but let's say he wins by 1 point in Iowa, right? Okay?
Okay.
All right. Hillary, she's from New York, in quotes.
Which is a good result, by the way, for Hillary. I think she would happily take that now.
I agree. But, I think even if it was a complete flat-footed tie, I mean, I really think that Edwards hurt himself in that NPR debate. And I don't think people realize
I understand, but go back to this thing.
Okay, so let's say that Obama wins by 1 or 2 points, right? And that's a big story. Okay, as you said at the beginning of this, there's now parity between the two of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they go to New Hampshire. Hillary is the senator from New York. Bill is the husband from New York. They can buy time that resonates not only in New Hampshire but also in Super Tuesday because of New York and New Jersey and California. It's a national election. So they're going to be, they have more to lose to a credible showing by Obama than Obama has. There's not going to be a lot of energy on the Democratic side, but there's going to be a tremendous churn on the Republican side.
I think you're over intellectualizing this.
No, I'm not.
You've made your point. I think that I think that all the candidates on the Republican side are pygmies. They're all profoundly flawed one way or the other. And none of them are in any way really that inspirational. People are voting for them negatively rather than positively. Even Huckabee. I mean, the only reason people are voting for him is because the others are so bad. So
it's got a good sense
whatever one says about Hillary and Obama, and Edwards for that matter, I mean, they all say the same about each other, is that they're all credible candidates. They're all good candidates. And I think you'll find that a voter is going to be much more interested in credible candidates than circus candidates, freaks like Huckabee.
I'm not saying that, that Huckabee is a very bad news for Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney is a strong candidate in the way that you think Hillary is a strong candidate. If that is overturned, people will come out of the woodwork, as they did in '68, and got rid of Johnson. They'll come out of the woodwork. If Obama is already a credible national candidate, which I think he will be after Iowa, the next task is to see how they can take out the guy that could beat Obama. And if he ever got into the election, the white guy with the hair has a good chance of really giving what's his name, Obama a run for his money.
Who's that? McCain, you mean?
No, I think McCain is the strongest candidate on the Republican side. I don't think he's going to get the nomination. I think Giuliani's going to get the nomination. And the dynamics of how New Hampshire plays out, it's going to be an absolute chaotic, it's going to be the Wild West. And a lot of independent votes are not going to vote on the Democratic side if that scenario plays out. And if that happens, Giuliani is going to do better.
Well, my prediction, and I'd probably be proved wrong on both counts, is it will be a McCain, Hillary Clinton presidential race. And what's yours?
Obama, Giuliani.
But we'll see. So we're going to talk again in a week. What's happening this week?
Another 7 days get eaten up.
Huckabee might discover Darwin.
Well, it's a funny line, but I don't know where he really stands on it.
Okay, well, I'll talk to you next week.
Okay, good talking
Bye.
to you. Bye.